had felt fragmented, uncertain. I thought we needed him to help us tackle the threats I was facing. But we'd found our feet without him. My 4 consorts and I. I didn't think the guys who'd sworn their love and loyalty to me last night would appreciate hearing me say that I hadn't been sure they'd be enough. Thankfully, Gabriel didn't ask. He nodded with his easy smile, not looking at all fazed by the idea that I could have drawn him to me through a scrap of paper.
Well, it did work. It just took me a little while getting here.
He glanced around the circle.
And now the gang's all back together. It's been a long time.
It has, Damon said. He stepped closer to me, his hand closing around mine, his gaze still fixed on Gabriel. His expression wasn't quite a glower, but he clearly had one ready, which wasn't really a surprise. My lock-picking leather jacket-wearing consort might have agreed to bind himself to me alongside 3 other guys, but he wasn't exactly Mr. Amicable at the best of times. He'd barely even been friendly to me when I'd moved back last month. The gentleness of his fingers clasping mine, despite the possessiveness of the gesture, reminded me of how far we'd come since then. Gabriel didn't miss the implication of that gesture, of course. His eyebrows lifted.
And some of us are more together than others?
He said, his tone light. What would he think when he knew the whole truth of it? I wet my lips. There's a lot more to it than that. A lot's happened in the last few weeks.
Not that it's any of your business necessarily.
Damon put in, his grip on my hand tightening. Jen's lips twitched with a mischievous smile.
We've all been fairly busy,
my artist said, his gallery's lights glancing off the blue highlights in his black hair as he aimed that smile toward me. By my other side, Seth shifted close enough to touch my back, supporting me, like he always did. His tall, well-muscled frame and his steady composure making him as much a sentinel as a consort.
Rose has been through a lot,
he said.
Maybe we should stick to other topics for now.
Right, Kyler said. Seth's slimmer and more upbeat twin shot a quick but affectionate glance at me and then grinned at Gabriel, his usual enthusiasm dancing in his gray-green eyes, even though his posture looked a bit tense.
Where were you getting here from? Where have you been since you left town? It's been, 4 years now?
Gabriel took it all in. Jen's smile, Seth's touch, Kyler's glance, Damon's hand still wrapped around mine, and a flicker of surprise crossed his face. Only for an instant, there and then returning to his usual relaxed expression, but I caught it anyway. He eased back half a step as if he'd sensed he might be more of an intruder in our group than he ever should have been. My heart wrenched. I gave Damon's fingers a squeeze and let go. Before we get into that, I said, crossing the middle of our shifting circle, I don't think I've said hello properly yet. I opened my arms and Gabriel accepted my embrace. He hugged me back a little more carefully than I would have liked, but I could understand that. Hugging him now was a lot different than hugging the much younger Gabriel who'd tried to comfort me when I'd realized our time was running out, all those years ago. Well, he smelled the same as in my memories, somehow sweet and dark, like forest moss at the same time. But he'd grown a few inches and put on a fair bit of muscle. There was no mistaking that I was embracing a man, not a boy. I'm glad you're here, even if it took you a little while, I said, stepping back. It didn't feel totally right being back on the estate without you here. Gabriel's smile went a little crooked.
What really wasn't right was you not being here. It's good to see you survived all that time shut away in the city, Sprout.
The childhood nickname and the tenderness with which he said it made my pulse flutter. That nickname had stuck as soon as I'd told him my real name, back when he'd first drawn me into the group of boys who'd roamed my family's estate while their parents worked for mine.
Found her sprouting up outside the manor,
he'd told the others with a grin.